And we are live. I am hoping. Let me know if you guys can't hear me, because that would be really awkward if I'm talking and no one can hear a word I'm saying. Hey, it's Christine Grace. Welcome back to my channel. Today is another episode of the latest Lunacy, and I thought this has just been going too viral. Everyone's talking about it. I've got to go live to talk about it. So if you haven't already seen from the thumbnail, we are talking about the crazy cake lady today. So I actually saw the original clip on Instagram, I want to say maybe 5-6 days ago. I don't think it's quite been a week yet. But yeah, I saw it and I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought it's another one of those TikToks. But yeah, before I get into the story, and the story is storying, that's for sure. I'm going to show you guys the initial clip so you can see what all of the huff is about. So let's watch the clip.
Why do people get on TikTok and cry? This single mother was making herself...
So as you can see, oh, hang on a minute. Let me show you guys my screen. So as you can see, it says being a single mum is making your own birthday cake on your birthday so that your babies can feel happy they are singing to you. So she's made this video, she's posted it to TikTok, and for whatever reason, it's gone viral. Perhaps a lot of people were resonating with it. I'm sure she was getting a lot of sympathy in the comments because obviously she's on TikTok and crying, and why else do people go on TikTok and cry? Well, it's for attention, let's be real. So no doubt that's what was going on. Anyway, so this video just went crazy viral. I don't know how many views it got in total, but I'm not going to hesitate to say that it was definitely in the millions. So I saw this, didn't think anything of it, just kind of let things continue. But I had a feeling that I was going to see it again. And let's just say my instincts weren't wrong. So I refresh X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, one morning, and I see this post, and it's currently at, whoa, 75.9 million views. And someone has said, remember the single mum who went viral crying and baking her own birthday cake? Her ex-husband would like a word. Let's check it out. It's the music and everything as well. Like, anyone who is going to tell me that this lady hasn't gone to TikTok for attention, I mean, come on. Like, life isn't a movie. This isn't the sad moment in the movie where the protagonist is having a down moment. Like, oh, get a grip. Anyway, film yourself doing this. Like, for those of you who know the context, you know how bad it gets. But if you don't know the context, like, how can you even just film yourself crying and cooking? Like, whatever happened to embarrassment? Whatever happened to shame? Like, oh, I'm crying, let me film myself. What? So that's the original clip, and here is the husband's response.
I've been sent this video. So I've been sent this video a lot over the last few days. People asking my thoughts and my comments on it. And before anyone says, oh, you don't know her situation, or, you know, you don't know what she's going through, well, I do, because I lived it. I'm her ex-husband, and right now I have full custody of our kids. This is our parent agreement. As you can see, I have all weekdays and weekends, time sharing with the kids, all at holiday academic breaks. And for her,
you can see the details there under childcare. Only the father may select appropriate childcare providers for the children. Now, if you have been subscribed to my channel for at least a little bit, you will know that we openly talk about here how fathers are discriminated against in the courts. You know, some rightly so, but most of the situations aren't right. You know, 9 times out of 10, the majority of fathers that go through the court systems are unjustly treated. Now, again, I know there's exceptions to every rule, and there are some fathers that aren't good fathers, in which case the mother should have custody, but we're talking about the majority here. We're talking about the rule, not the exception, and the truth is that that's not the case. So knowing that the court system is automatically skewed against men, for this man to obtain these documents that clearly state that he is in full control of the children, he has full custody, and in fact, only the father may select appropriate childcare providers for the children, that definitely speaks to something regarding the woman's character. When we know full well that typically the mother would be given full reign. So that says something straight away.
To get any rights back to the kids, these are the things that she needs to do. And yes, child support, she owes that. It's up to over $21,000. So she's a mother and doesn't pay child support. She was then arrested for check fraud, and during that hearing, it turned out that it was found that she stole almost $1 million from another guy. And also, she faked cancer in the past. These are scans that she would send and post on her page before. So, to sum it up, this person, for people that follow her or giving her praise and telling her how strong and how, amazing she's doing, well, she's really not a full-time mom. She barely has her kids.
So this is what actually happened in that video. The video that's gone viral, that people are saying, poor woman, poor lady, how sad that must be. She's crying, baking her own cake. She's a liar. She's a pathological liar. She clearly suffers from some kind of mental instability because she has propped up her camera. She is crying over the fact that she's a full-time mum and having to look after the children by herself. So there's no kids even in the house. She's purely baking the cakes and crying for a TikTok. There's no other reason. Like, she has done that. The whole thing is an act. The whole thing, she has set up set. She has turned the cameras on. It's a movie. It's not real. She has done that purely for TikTok. That isn't right. That tells you that someone isn't quite all there in the brain.
She goes out all the time, and she doesn't even have a job even. So she just really not someone that other single moms should really be looking towards as for inspiration or anything like that. There are a lot of hardworking single moms out there, and a lot of respect to them. All I just want to say is she just isn't one of them. So hopefully everyone can see this video and know who she really is. Peace.
So, of course, the internet has been going wild. How someone can do all of that and make out that they've got this hard life and let it go viral knowing full well that it's a completely created delusion in their mind just shows you the extent of how mentally unwell some people are. And obviously TikTok culture encourages this kind of thing. It's just wild. It's just wild. So I thought, wow, like, this is crazy. And I was quite happy because I thought, well, this kind of exposes some of what's going on. This exposes the fact that there are people out there, formulating these stories that aren't true purely for the sake of, gratification for themselves. And, if I make myself a victim, people give me sympathy, and people, for whatever reason, like that these days. They like being a victim. They like getting the sympathy votes. They like all of the attention that comes with it. Everyone wants to be a main character. Everyone wants to be, the protagonist in the movie. And, when the protagonist is down, the people in the audience, everyone wants to hug the protagonist. We live in a completely upside down world where everyone thinks that real life is a movie these days. So yeah, I thought this is going to be great. People are going to be talking more about this, and it's going to be raising, it's going to be raising a lot of eyebrows and making people second guess what they see on the internet. This is what I hoped. This is what I longed for, that it would have a lasting impact on people, and people might think twice about things they see on the internet. People might do a bit more investigating. And, perhaps people will stop believing modern women and mothers that go to the internet and say all of these things without any proof. That's what I thought. That's what I hoped for. That's not what happened. So you would think, after being exposed like this with literal pictures of her mugshot and, the documents that clearly state that only the father can make these important decisions for the children, only the father has sole custody, showing that she owes over $20,000 worth in child support. Again, guys, I saw someone comment in the chat, a man getting that kind of custody is a modern day miracle. We know that the courts are not in favor of men. So the fact that a man has been awarded full custody, full control of the kids, that should just tell you that this woman has done something very backwards to not be able to look after those children. So you would think after all of that she would get off the internet, Oh no. Oh no. This woman doubles down. So she comes back, right? And this is what she's saying. Hang on 1 second. This is so
Drew,
weird.
her ex-husband.
Right.
So we finally got an update and a response from Elizabeth, the single mom who was crying while making her own birthday cake. In the video, she starts by saying that Andrew, her ex-husband, has been extremely abusive. He continues to manipulate and control her, including creating websites and social media accounts to attack her.
Andrew has created websites, TikToks, essentially everything since I left him. Andrew is extremely abusive and has always been.
Okay, so first thing I'm noticing is she's not saying that the documents are fake. She's not denying any of the documents. She's not denying anything that he's saying that is true. She's simply saying that it's a way to... She's manipulating it. She's simply saying that this is a way to control her. But she's not out here saying that he's doctored those documents and the whole thing is false and I have the children, none of that. She's insisting that he is abusive for whatever reason. I'm just going to go back a little bit.
Created websites, TikToks, essentially everything since I left him. Andrew is extremely abusive and has always been extremely abusive.
She stated that
if he was so abusive, then she would be able to argue, again, knowing how the court system works, knowing that you don't even have to really have evidence in a lot of court systems to prove abuse on the part of a male to a female. Why would he be given sole custody? She hasn't denied those documents being real. She hasn't denied the truth of it. One thing I will say is that she describes her ex-husband Andrew as attacking her. And one thing that you see in a lot of mentally unstable people, particularly people who create delusions in their head and believe them to be true. For example, people with borderline personality disorder, people with narcissistic personality disorder, all kinds of... typically it's personality disorders because they can't tell which part of them is real. They believe the delusions in their head, and then when you challenge those delusions with the truth, they see it as an attack, because to them, they identify their person with their delusions. So the reality that they've created in their head, to them, is because they're not stable. It's the truth. What they believe has happened is the truth. And even if you challenge that with the truth, so like we've seen these documents from the ex-husband, because they identify their personality with their delusions, they see your attack on the lie as an attack on them personally, because they've identified with their delusion. By you attacking that delusion, they see it as you're attacking me. That's just one thing I wanted to highlight. Not that I'm a psychologist, just some things that I've observed, particularly here.
Andrew, who is a doctor, manipulates his financial situation to appear insolvent, impacting custody and support agreements. He also convinced Elizabeth to sign an agreement under duress when she had no resources.
I see all my children, one who does everything until he pulls them away. And the reason by that is the agreement that you guys have seen online. And I first left him out of abuse. I had no resources, no money, nothing. He said, if you sign these papers, nothing will change on when you see them, and I will not ruin your life.
Elizabeth continues to see her children, but faces constant interference from Andrew, who uses legal and psychological tactics to limit her access. She said that Andrew's behavior is influenced by his association with Scientology, making the situation more complex and challenging.
Okay, so this is typically another thing that we see from mentally unstable people, is that, they just, to make themselves look like the victim, they will use like trigger words to turn you against the person who is kind of calling out their bullshit. So like, for example, she's like, Scientology. Anyone who knows a thing or two about Scientology, I haven't looked into it too much myself, but you know, I've seen a couple documentaries here and there. I know the stigma it has, at least. She knows the stigma that the word Scientology is going to create, so she's automatically bringing that up. You know, whether Scientology is, you know, real, legitimate, whatever, is beside the point. The point is that she knows Scientology has a stigma, so she's using the tactic of using that word against Andrew, her ex-husband, to ignite feelings in the audience towards Andrew. So by association with Scientology, she's automatically making Andrew the villain and her the victim, hero, whatever you want to call it. That's how these delusions are clearly playing out.
I was still seeing.
My point still stands that if he was that bad, the court wouldn't have awarded him custody, because the court is already against men. It's out to get the men. It's out to make the men the bad guy. So for a court to have taken his side, come on.
Always, even now. On Friday, the dance recital, afterwards, four of my girlfriends asked for me to go to dinner for my birthday. And I said to him, after the dance recital, I'm going to go to the dinner, but I'm still free for the rest of the weekend for the girls. He said, no, you made the decision to go to dinner. You will not see them on your birthday. You will not see them any other. But also, he's a doctor, eye clinic, and he essentially runs all his bills through his business. And he pays himself like $350, $400 to turn that in as his financial affidavits, which essentially means he makes no money.
Elizabeth claims that she experienced severe mental health issues, including psychosis, due to the trauma of the abusive relationship.
So here's typically where people who aren't quite well in the head mess up. This is typically where they kind of expose themselves and don't realize quite what they're doing. So in their mind, they are making themselves the ultimate victim, someone to feel sorry for, someone that people want to come to and comfort and support, right? So her claim is that I have psychosis and it's because of the abuse. So in her mind, she's like, I'm showing people, you know, how much of a victim I am, and people are going to come to my defense. The mistake here on the part of the delusional is that you are simply highlighting that you are unstable. And when it comes to the safety of children, mental stability will always trump mental instability. So by her saying she has psychosis, she's thinking people are going to feel sorry for me, people are going to come to me, people are going to support me. But actually, by her saying psychosis, she is highlighting the exact reason why a court would not want to put children in her care, or at least in her primary care. Because someone with psychosis is not fit to be around children. That's the truth of it. At least not unsupervised. So her plan is to lure you in, is to, you know, obviously I know most of you watching probably aren't fooled by this, but I just saw one of the comments, people, I've lost it now, but someone mentioned how a lot of people in the comments of these videos are supporting her. That's because women are naturally empathetic. So women typically, you know, not all women, I mean, I'm a woman and I don't see it like this, but a lot of women are going to see her saying, I have psychosis because of how abusive he was, and they're not going to be able to identify that the psychosis is the problem. They're only going to see it as, look at all this pain that's been inflicted upon her, and she will have successfully put herself in their minds as a victim. So other women, of course, are naturally going to take the nurturing role to nurture this woman and say, you know, she's had it hard, that's why she has psychosis. And that's where things get problematic, because, you know, you have to pick one. You can't take the side of the woman and say, you know, she's been abused and that's why she has psychosis. And, you know, if you're going to do all of that, that's fine, but you have to then acknowledge that someone with psychosis should not be offered sole custody of children and should not be around children unsupervised. You wouldn't want a psychotic man around your children unsupervised, so why would you want a psychotic woman around your children unsupervised?
She continued by saying that Andrew demanded her to delete her social media to stop his harassment, which she attempted, but he still continued his attacks regardless.
When I got divorced, definitely when I left my husband, I was out drinking, or I was going through it. I mean, he got scared that I was getting followers from my video.
I just saw a comment. He caused my insanity with mental abuse, lol. Yeah, I mean, look. When it comes to the safeguarding of children, the reason for said mental instability is irrelevant, right? There's an old saying, hurt people hurt people. But it's like, okay, right, so let's say someone was abused as a child and now they're unwell because of that. Someone's had a rough past and now they have mental issues because of that. Unfortunately, you know, when you were a child, all of that stuff might have mattered. But now you're not the child. So what matters is the child now in question. So why you've got all of your mental stability becomes irrelevant when there's a child involved. What matters is that the child isn't around mentally unstable people. So, you know, someone may well have, no, I'm not a Scientologist. Someone may well have, you know, had abuse inflicted upon them to be mentally unstable. It is correct that probably like 90% of the time, most people who do suffer with mental instability of some form or another have been abused in their childhood or in their past. But, you know, unfortunately, that doesn't change the fact that you now have issues and you can't inflict those issues upon children. That's the point. So, you know, whether he caused it or not is kind of irrelevant, because unless he's been evaluated for some kind of mental instability, and clearly he hasn't, and a court has deemed him fit to look after children, I'm sorry, but this lady here, she has been evaluated, and a psychologist and a court have deemed her unfit to be around children, and that's the take home, unfortunately. I mean, it sounds harsh, but it's the truth.
And thought, this is the time I'm going to bring her down before she can ever come out about me. He told me to delete my page yesterday and he would stop. He never stopped.
Elizabeth also said that she has faced public scrutiny and death threats, exacerbated by Andrew's efforts to tarnish her reputation. Despite the challenges, Elizabeth said she remains devoted to their children, ensuring they are safe and well cared for.
What's shocking to me is that people are taking her side, and so far, I've not seen any proof from her. But we've seen consistent proof from the ex-husband. You know, we've seen documents, we've seen photographic evidence that at least she's been arrested before. You know, the police will arrest guys for, at least here in the UK, for domestic violence, you know, even if they've just had a row. So for her to not be able to obtain any photographic evidence that he's been in any kind of trouble with the law, I just can't believe that people would even really fall for this, but fair enough.
My friends, anyone in my life has said, Elizabeth, you have to come forward with what is happening because he can't keep doing this to you. And I have always said, I don't care what he does to me. What I care about is my children. He has essentially every single person in my life turned them against me.
She then ended the video.
I mean, again, like I'm gonna say the harsh thing here, but it's the truth. If everyone in your life is able to be turned against you, two things you can take from that. One, you didn't have good people around you in the first place. But two, the more likely thing is things that you were doing spoke to your character, and people, he didn't turn them against you. They turned against you for whatever it was that you were doing. Because if you haven't done anything wrong and someone else is slandering you and saying that you have done something wrong when you haven't, the people around you who know your character and can vouch for you as a person aren't going to turn against you when they know you wouldn't behave in such a way. But if people already have suspicions about your character, and then someone else comes in and says you've done a bunch of things and that aligns with your character, then yeah, chances are they're going to turn against you too. You know, I think one thing that is coming to mind for me is this whole thing is just so sad, because this is all on the internet. And it's going crazy viral right now. Like, there's kids involved. The kids are going to see these videos one day. You know, I always say on this channel, I hate people who air out their dirty laundry. You know, there's certain things that just, especially when there's children involved, don't need to be aired out on the internet. You know, do it privately, whatever, but the need for external validation from an audience when this is a child's life, like this is part of those children's story, you know? I just think it's rather negligent to the children.
The cease and desist letter to show proof. But yeah, what do you...
Okay, so now we are seeing some kind of proof. Let's look at this. Okay, so this is a cease and desist for the website that the ex-husband has made. We'll check out the website in a minute. But this is from a law firm. This is a law firm. Yeah, this is just for the removal of the website. So it'd be interesting to see if this actually went to court, how it would turn out.
Of all this, and who do you think is telling the truth?
Interesting. I mean,
So we finally got an up.
I don't have a link to the original video because I would have loved to have seen the comments. But yeah, so what we saw from him was actual documents from a court stating that he had sole custody of the children and that he was the sole decision maker for a lot of important things for the children, such as their education. She has got lawyers involved to basically go against the website that he has made. So he created a website, and I'll share it with you guys now. He created this website, Elizabeth Teckenbrock, breaking who is Myra Teckenbrock. And basically here is where you can find all of the documents on her. Apparently she has all different aliases. She's gone under all different names. He mentioned there that she's conned other men, apparently, out of money. And yeah, a whole lot of things that go against her. So she's got lawyers involved to basically say that he needs to take down this website. But I think the important point here is that he has custody of the children. In a world where the courts are already against men, he has been given custody of the children. So, you know, and what we saw on her evidence was purely a letter from a lawyer to him. Now, I don't know if it's the same in America, but over here, you know, typically a lawyer or whatever would get in touch with someone and say, you know, you need to get rid of this, or we're going to take matters further. Then it would go through a court, and then the court would determine the outcome. So what we saw there wasn't, as far as I'm aware, wasn't actually a court order, rather a letter to warn, I've forgotten the gentleman's name, the ex-husband, that if he doesn't take the website down, that they would take it to court. I would be intrigued to know if they did take it to court, what the outcome would be, because does it count as, you know, slander and defamation if it's all true? I don't know the American laws around that. I don't know exactly how that would work, you know, or would it be sort of fair use, because surely that information is all in the public domain. I'm not sure. Who knows? This story might unfold further. So yeah, that's her stance. So I did a bit of digging and I looked into her Instagram, and on her Instagram, it's on private. I'm not sure if it was on private before, but it's definitely on private now. But she does have a link in her bio. And I know in her bio it says that she's like a business owner of some sort, or she's like a founder of something. So I thought, let me run to her website and see what that's all about. So this is her website. Let me see if I can share it with you guys. So this is her website. So she has a brand, foundation, or whatever it may be, called Fear to Fierce. Our why. In our community, we honour survivors' journeys from fear to fierceness. We stand as a beacon of hope, offering support, resources, and a safe haven for those affected by domestic violence. Fear to Fierce strives to break the cycle of abuse, fostering resilience, empowering women to rewrite their stories with strength and dignity. A message from our founder. So, this is the founder. So this is her. This is the lady Elizabeth, if that's her real name. This is her. I'm excited to welcome you to Fear to Fierce, sorry, a non-profit organization I founded to help women who have experienced domestic violence. I'm a survivor of domestic violence for years, and I know the immense pain and suffering it can cause. So, I mean, look, it just all seems to be about her. Now, I don't know this woman and I'm no psychologist, but everything I've seen so far would suggest to me that she has narcissistic traits to her personality. You know, there's a short little message here about what the foundation stands for, our why. But then the picture here is like leaves. Like, what's that got to do with anything? Clearly, that's not taken much thought for her to put into this. Our mission, right? A little bit here, but then it's like a message from our founder. Look how big this is compared to the other part. You know, she's got a great big picture of her there, another picture of her here. You know, it's just, it seems like a portfolio of her rather than a company. Do you know what I mean? Like, typically the founder, you wouldn't expect it to be on the front. You'd expect it to be on like a tab at the top where it's like, you know, meet the team or whatever. Most sort of companies' websites tend to be formatted like that. Whereas here, like, it just seems to be all about her rather than what the foundation, if it's even a real foundation, actually stands for, which is, you know, victims of domestic violence. It doesn't really seem to be highlighting that to me. Like, if I just looked at this website without reading it, so like imagine all of the words are in a different language or whatever, I'm going to think, okay, so like this image here, maybe it's like a fashion brand, you know, maybe like some kind of like beauty or spa website. I mean, this picture, I'd be like, yeah, maybe it's like a spa. Oh, maybe they're an agency for influencers. Like, I'm not looking at this and thinking this is a charitable foundation. Anyway, let's have a bit more. So apparently it's been copyrighted this year. Let's have a bit more of a dig. Fierce family. How can we help? Coming soon. You know, it's all pretty much in development. Become part of a supportive network dedicated to empowering survivors of domestic abuse. By signing up, you'll gain access to exclusive resources. So what's interesting here is if you have to pay. So start now. Wow. I'm clicking start now and it's not actually letting me go anywhere. Get help. Guys, I'm clicking and I'm going nowhere. Please check back in August 2024 for specific availabilities while we work hard to get our feet off the ground. So I'm not sure where I found it. Here it is. So events. So she's hosting these events. Now, there's no real explanation of what's going to take place at these events. You know, you can't even really gain anything from this website. You know, it's not actually up and running yet. But she is taking money for these events that are apparently happening. She is taking money. So this does actually fall in line with what the ex-husband is saying. This does... You have too good an ad blocker in effect. Oh, is it not working because I have something wrong with my browser? I'm so sorry, guys. I'm really not very tech savvy. See, I can click on this absolutely fine. It's just the get help stuff that isn't actually working. So she has this whole itinerary of things that will be taking place. And look, what? See, like, a foundation that seeks to help victims of domestic violence. Victims of... Sorry, I can't even speak today. Victims of domestic violence, typically, they're not going to have money. You know, you think, like, victim of domestic violence, you think someone who's, you know, fled from a violent situation, you know. Look at this. Am I reading this correctly? Or does that say $16,000? Does this say $6,000? Like, am I reading it wrong and it's actually like $6 and $250? No, that's thousands, isn't it? That is thousands. And where is this money going? Where's the money going? Is it actually going to help domestic violence victims? Oh my gosh, this is so bad. This is so bad. And look, you know, there's buttons everywhere for donate, and I bet this button works. Yep, that one works. You can send money, no problem. But all of the services that they supposedly offer, oh, that's not been developed yet. Come on. I mean, come on. The fact that people are even falling for this is just wild. Anyway, I am pretty sure that there is more. Just bear with me and I'll get it up. Okay, so oh, it's so bad. The fact that this is all online, it's so bad. But anyway, so the husband has come back and responded to her saying that he's a Scientologist. So let's see what his comeback is. It's just not a good look, isn't it? Airing out your dirty laundry on the internet, you know, mum and dad having a row online for the whole world to see. Those poor children. Right.
Hello everyone, I just want to come on here real quick and clear up a few things that has been obviously a very recurring theme on the page. Number one, I'm not a Scientologist. Don't even know how that came about, other than the website, but I didn't create the website either. So both of those things, Scientology, never been one. The website, I did not create. So those two things, nothing to do with me. Last thing is the name, Inventing Elizabeth. It is about a show on Netflix, Inventing Anna. If you haven't seen that show, I highly recommend going to watch it before watching more of my videos or commenting on my stuff. That show is about a woman who was a con artist and a scammer. So my name is a reference to that show. Again, I'm out of town, so I don't have... I'm not gonna post much more until I get back, and then I'll be showing a lot more evidence, things like that, because I'm not gonna post hearsay things or, oh, show you text messages. Yeah, I could show you a bunch of text messages over the years and things like that, but at this point where this is at, with this level of the story, if you will, it just needs to be straight facts from here on out, and that's all you will be getting. So stay tuned. Peace.
So, I mean, respect to him for not, you know, really airing it all out, you know, with the messages and things like that. I'm kind of torn with his response because, you know, I think what he's doing is good in, you know, there is a broader issue here that speaks to the public of, you know, everything you see on social media isn't true. And, you know, some people are literal con artists, and, you know, a lot of the things that women at the moment seem to be posting are completely fabricated. But the other part of me is also kind of like, you won. Like, dude, you won. Like, you have the children. But I guess if she's coming online and saying he's abusive, you know, he's got to refute that, and he has evidence to do so. So yeah, it's a real mess. So this was reposted onto X, you know, and the lady who shared it, shout out to Turable808 on X. She has said the latest video from Cake Lady's husband claims he's not a Scientologist. Who do you believe? And we've had Sydney Watson here. She says, I'll share it with my screen with you guys, sorry. She says, I think it's so bizarre to be airing all of this publicly. Agreed. I also think it's incredibly psychotic that this man's entire TikTok website dedicated to his ex-wife. I don't know if that's the takeaway here. I mean, I already said, you know, airing out your dirty laundry, not really something I'm on board with anyway, but they're both doing it. Why is the burden of the blame and the sort of main point in this comment here on him? So she's literally herself said that she's been diagnosed with psychosis. Why? Irrelevant. But she herself has said that she's been diagnosed with psychosis. But Sydney's comment here says, I think it's incredibly psychotic that the man... I mean, the woman herself said it, she has psychosis, and Sydney's takeaway is that the man is psychotic. Attention-seeking, perhaps, you know, maybe not the most mature thing to do, perhaps. But if she's already aired it all out online, and you got to remember is the fact that she's made this original cake video or whatever, we don't know how old the children are. So the children then could become teenagers, get on TikTok or whatever, see these videos of their mum, and, you know, children being children might believe that that's actually what happened in their childhood. That the mum was this victim, and that for whatever reason the kids have been stripped away from her. So I kind of see why the dad's got to come back and say, this isn't true, and give all of the receipts and evidence as to why it's not true. Not just for the sake of his own reputation on the internet, which no doubt, of course, there's a part of that, but also for the children's sake, so the children know, you know, this is the truth of it, as ugly as it is. But, you know, I've had to defend myself, and I didn't want people lying about your life on the internet. It's such a sticky and horrible situation, because it's like, this is the kids' lives, you know, and it's just all online. He spoke there briefly about why he called his page on TikTok of Inventing Elizabeth, and he spoke about the show Inventing Anna, and it is a good show, so you should definitely check it out. So when I saw his TikTok originally, he had quite a few videos up. I've just checked it again today, and it seems that there's only 3. So I'm gonna do some investigating.
So I just want to get on here and say thank you this morning. Appreciate all the support. Really means a lot to me. Throughout the process, it can be very challenging.
Way. Look at the comments. I pray for Elizabeth and her kids. I mean, fair. But not really that one. The next one. Team Elizabeth, we support you, Elizabeth. What? Oh my gosh. Team Elizabeth. This is wild. I believe her. His eyes tell you all you need to know. His eyes tell you all you need to know. What about the literal legal court documents? That doesn't tell you something? Eesh.
Especially, you know, dealing with everything. So I really do appreciate the support. So thank you. So I just want to get on here and say thank you this morning. Appreciate all the support. Really means a lot to me. Throughout the process, it can be very challenging, especially, you know, dealing with everything. So I really do appreciate the support. So thank you.
I mean, irrelevant. One thing I did find intriguing, I'm gonna say, for lack of a better word, is, so he posted this one, and when you go back to the page, so it says more to come, and then you click on it.
I know.
And he's hashtagged it Inventing Anna, Reinventing Elizabeth for you. So like, he obviously really wants this to get out. Oh, sorry guys, bear with me. Can I not use it now? Okay, never mind. TikTok's caught on to me. One of the points there that I was going to highlight before TikTok got on my case for not being signed in or whatever, is that he put hashtag Netflix series in one of his videos. So I'm just going to put something out there. Look, I'm sure there is a lot of truth to this story, but just for a second it crossed my mind. I mean, he might just be putting hashtag Netflix series because, you know, Inventing Anna is a Netflix series. But also, you know, I hate to say it because I just don't know, but maybe he's hoping Netflix sees this and makes a documentary out of it. You know, again, this is besides the point of, you know, he's obviously got custody of the children. Elizabeth is obviously not right in the head. She's actually diagnosed with psychosis and has said it herself. Like, that's all true. But the hashtag Netflix thing, you know, I'm just a bit like, why do you need to do that? Why do you want it to be on Netflix? Like, isn't it bad enough that it's all over TikTok? Why do you want to make a kind of like a spectacle out of your children's lives? You know, it's already a spectacle on TikTok and you want it to go even further and reach a new audience on Netflix. I don't know. Look, I don't know the intentions behind why he's put Netflix series. It could just be Inventing Anna as a Netflix series. I don't know, but just something didn't quite sit right with me when I saw that hashtag. Again, I'm not saying that, you know, Elizabeth is, because of that, Elizabeth is now right. Like, no, absolutely not. To me, it's evidently clear that, you know, a court wouldn't award custody to a father when the court's already skewed against fathers anyway, unless the mother was a potential danger, harm to the children, or incapable of looking after the children at the very least. So, yeah, I definitely believe, you know, the evidence before my eyes. The fact that a comment there even said, look at his eyes, you can tell, like, what about the literal hard evidence? Don't look at that? I don't know. Anyway. So, oh, I've just lost the page. I just think it's wild. I feel really, really sorry for the children because this is really embarrassing. So, apparently there is another response. This is so bad. It's so bad. But this is another response, and I think this is the last one. So, yeah, let's take a look.
Check out of my account to open a new private. I got arrested. I cashed a check out of my account to open a new private account of my own, and I cashed a check to put it in there. And before the check cleared, it bounced. That's exactly what happened. I got my case closed, and I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, I made a stupid mistake. I got arrested. I cashed a check out of my account to open a new private account of my own, and I cashed a check to put it in there. And before the check cleared, it bounced. That's exactly what happened.
I mean, any Americans in the chat, could you help clarify something for me here? Would that constitute grounds for arrest? I know here in the UK it definitely wouldn't. And I don't even get what her point is here. What's her point? I don't know. She tried to steal his money and put it in her own private account. Oh. But even still, like, usually it's the bank that would be involved in those. And especially if they were married at the time, if the divorce hadn't already gone through, if they were married at the time, you know, the police aren't going to turn up on the door. They're going to say that's a domestic issue. You know, work it out civilly, go through the bank, go through the courts or whatever. Okay. She committed fraud. So she claims that's her point. Okay, thank you guys for clarifying. Because I'm like, over here, like a married couple, someone tries to take their money out and put it in another account, like the police aren't going to turn up on your door for that. Like, you could literally get burgled in this country and the police wouldn't turn up for hours, but that's another issue. Besides the point. So she's committed fraud. For me, it's telling how she said from our account. Yeah, it just seems a bit wishy-washy. Something just doesn't seem right with it at all. I don't quite understand what her point is here. So she says that it was dropped. Now, I don't know, again, I don't know how it works in America. Is there a way to, you know, see her criminal record? Like, so over here in the UK, we have like a DBS check that you can see if someone's got a criminal record. Like, she claims everything was dropped, but like, was it? And also, you know, she shows that original letter from her lawyers to him saying to take down the website. The website's still up. It's still up and running. So, you know, the owners of the website, the ex-husband, whatever, they're not taking the website down. So is she going to take him to court for that? You know, we need a thorough investigation here. I've done my best, but we need a thorough investigation here. I think surely some authorities have got to get more involved at this point. You know, I don't know. This is what happens on the internet. Things just get ridiculously blown out of proportion and completely out of hand. And, it becomes almost impossible to know the truth. So I'm just checking. If there's anything else worthy of me looking into. I think I've managed to find everything. Someone, Travis Powell on X, has said, based on his legal documents, she doesn't stay home with her kids, but regardless, it's bad on both of them because when their kids grow up, they'll see mummy and daddy feuding like this, and that will never be okay. And the author of the post has responded back, I feel bad for the kids the most. I think we can all agree that that's what we're all thinking in all of this, is those poor children. So someone says, original video says her daughter wanted to sing happy birthday. This video says that the daughter wasn't there. She's lying. Christy Hines says, someone went to a lot of trouble to create a website to make all of her dirty laundry public. I'd bet it's the ex. I mean, it's obvious that he's probably behind the website. I mean, he said that it's all about highlighting that she's committing felonies, and apparently she'd done this to someone else or whatever. Abusers target people with mental health issues and other problems because they know they'll be able to take advantage. Actually, what's true is that the majority of abusers are abusive because they've been abused and they are unwell. So actually, the people with mental health issues are more likely to be the abusers than the abused. So that doesn't make any sense. You can do a criminal background check on her, look at court records of their divorce. I mean, yeah, someone needs to do a thorough dig because I don't know what the truth is. I mean, I know obviously a general truth, which is that she's unwell. This comment that, abusers target mentally unwell people, is just completely a really stupid one. The majority of abusers are mentally unwell, otherwise why would they be abusive? It's not like normal, sane, healthy-minded people think, I'm going to go around and abuse someone. No, it's people who are bitter because they've probably been abused and they've got mental health issues that they think, I'm going to go and inflict that on someone else. And when I say I think, obviously it's not a conscious thing, it all happens unconsciously, but, it's that saying, hurt people hurt people. Abusers are typically mentally unwell. I have mental health issues because of someone else abusing me. Like, okay, yes, that might be true, but then that also makes you a potential abuser. A lot of people overcome their mental health issues, but I just wanted to highlight that because that is a narrative that we keep seeing kind of getting thrown around. Again, it's that delusion thing of I'm a victim, and it lures you in by making you feel sorry for them, when really they're blinding you to the truth. It's all smoke screens, isn't it? So yeah, I think for the moment we're going to leave it there because I can't seem to find anything else on this, but I'm really intrigued to know what you guys think. I don't want to do the whole team taking things. I think it's way more complex than that. I think it's evident that the mother has got some issues. Perhaps she's not been entirely present. Obviously a court has argued against her, and that's rare. Someone in the chat quite rightly said that, I've gone blank. I'm trying to read the chat and talk at the same time, and I'm just not that advanced. Not all hurt people, some break the cycle. Yes, exactly. That's why I said, people with mental health issues become potential people who've been abused become potential abusers themselves, because a lot of people become self-aware. A lot of people are, as you quite rightly say, able to break the cycle. But it is also true that the majority of people who do commit abuse have mental health issues themselves, which typically come from people who have abused them. It's a cycle. But like you say, some people do break the cycle. So yeah, Let me know what you guys think on on all of this. If any of you have any other kind of links to anything that might help us get some more clarity on this, please do let me know. I'm particularly intrigued to see if her criminal charges were dropped, as she actually claims. And I'm particularly intrigued to see if there's any kind of correspondence with regards to her initial letter to him for the cease and desist of the website, because I would love to see how that pans out in court, whether it actually constitutes defamation, if it's all true. And yeah, anything that sort of tells us what's really going on with the children. I mean, again, it seemed that that initial video, she did just prop up her camera and film a video of her crying and baking a cake for attention. You know, as far as I can discern, the kids weren't actually there. So, I don't know. Does anyone have anything that can help me out? Why don't you let me know in the comments section below? I'm going to be doing another live soon. I'm just doing a bit of extra research because I want to make sure I get it right, because it's quite political and I don't want YouTube to come after me. But it's more British politics, if any of you are interested. There's a lot going on in British politics at the moment. Britain is in a bit of a... let's just say it's not exactly great anymore, but it's all to do with the war that's happening in Russia. There are some rumors going around that things are going to escalate a lot more than they already have, and that Britain is perhaps more involved than we previously thought. But yeah, I need to do a bit more digging before I bring my evidence to you guys. Otherwise, you know, if I'm just on here speculating and, you know, claiming things are gospel when I don't actually know for sure, then that wouldn't be very responsible of me, would it? But hey, with this particular topic, you know, this is people airing out their personal lives on the internet, and we can only do our best to, you know, have a dig and see if we can discern some truth, some stability amongst the chaos that seems to be going on. Yeah. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. Like the video if you can, because it really helps my videos get on the algorithm and get out to more people, and I really, really appreciate all of your support. Thank you so much, everyone who has been in the chat. Doug, I'm so sorry, I'm about to leave. But thank you so much for joining. Yeah, thank you guys so much for all of your support, and for continuing to support the channel. You literally have no idea how much it means to me. I am not ignorant to the fact that I am so lucky to get to do this for a job, and the fact that you guys will make it possible really, really means the world. So thank you so much. Subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all of my videos, and I will see you very soon in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.